Ladies and gentlemen, all rise for the RankKing's court.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the best night during the week, the best show that graces your internet. This is the RankKing's Court, live 6:30 on Tuesdays. The usual crowd with us tonight. We have Oracle, Vo, and Noble Knight Greg, but we also have a guest. So please, everyone, make the court feel wholesome as I introduce one of my best friends for a while now, Jenny. Like since the start of college, I would say, maybe like a year into it.
What, my sophomore year?
Yeah. So yeah. So everyone, please welcome Justin.
Yet another friend we did not know that Austin had. It's awesome.
You say this all the time. This
Every
is a growing
time.
conversation.
What's
every
up,
time.
Denny? Thanks for tuning in.
I can't wait for Chip to come here for him to be surprised as hell that
Oh, he's
another
like another
friend.
friend. This is my HR.
This is what, your fourth friend?
Yeah.
HR needs to stop bullying people. That's all I'm saying.
Chip says, does Steph know?
Oh my god.
It is I'm not sure. I mean, also for the record, I'm more of Steph's friend than Austin is at this point too.
Oh,
which is
Well,
funny.
you guys
stealing
see
your
each other a
friends.
lot more. Guys go to concerts and everything and hang out and
Oh,
Not my
Maybe.
fault. She likes me more than you.
you know what?
You
Hey,
sound- you
I wouldn't
sound
blame
sad.
her. I wouldn't blame her, honestly. But yes, how's our week going, boys? I mean, I know it's the second day, but I feel like
it was a long
There's-
weekend.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Austin, I'm wearing long sleeves today. And there's a reason I'm wearing long sleeves. As you are probably wearing long sleeves for the same reason as well, I'm assuming, right?
I thought
I think I know what you're
maybe-
talking about.
Yeah.
Did you get a tattoo, Greg?
No.
Did you get a tattoo?
Wait, did you?
I didn't get a tattoo. I thought
God.
that's what he thought I did.
No, you're probably sunburned, right?
No,
Oh,
because
because that's what.
No,
my
because-
shoulders are burnt.
no. Well, it's a little chilly outside. You know why it's a little chilly outside?
Why is it a little chilly outside?
Because there's a draft in the air.
That was good.
Oh, Greg, I love it.
It's my favorite thing to say. I love this week. I love this week so much.
Yes. Now, before we get into it, because I know the draft is a huge topic for us here at the bench. For those that don't know, last year when we did all those mock drafts, Justin was one of the ones that put one of his mock drafts into it. You can actually look on it. All those posts back on the website at thoughtsfromthebench.com. It is there. There's a lot of picks that we thought were going to happen, Justin. I really thought last year, but
Should have happened.
should have, yes. But to start, where are the Oracle and the Noble Knight located for the RankKing's Court today?
RankKing's Court is live today from Union Fitness Studios, located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It's a place where you can transform yourself inside and out, with a variety of classes based around fitness, yoga, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe that it is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today to sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength.
We'll see if he does it.
There you
Yeah,
go. Didn't even have to go to him.
We got him.
We got him. But yes, So before we get into the draft, because I know
we got a lot to talk.
we got a lot to
about.
talk about apparently, because Vo, according to last show, set up a voice message hotline that simply read, "What, Vo? If you want to repeat."
So anyone that commented on this post, I'll put the graphic up here.
Okay.
We did top 10 Johnny Depp movies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that commented, like Dre, for example.
Which, for the record, this is one of the better top 10s he's done. I must say.
It was
not
good.
a lot of issues. Not a lot
You don't have the social.
You don't
media.
think, right? But apparently people are like, but we'll get to it.
So
what
for
did you
example, Dre said, "No blow is tragic." So I would respond and say, "Hi."
Yes, Dre. No blow is tragic. That's true. Go ahead.
I would say, "Hi, Dre. Thank you for reaching out. I will forward your message to the ranking, and he will address it on tomorrow's episode. Be sure to tune in." And I'd sign Vo.
Austin, do you have?
I did that for Dre, Ben, and whoever else. would
Austin, do you
reply.
have a response for Dre's comment?
Yes, I do. As big of a movie person it is, I have unfortunately never seen Blow. So
Deep called
I am
that.
not going to be like some people at the bench and lie about things that I've seen in order to put them on here,
Yeah.
and which we addressed last night too. So if you're watching, Deddy, that one's for you, fella.
Austin, have you seen The Secret Window?
Secret. Now that is
It's on Netflix
like
right now.
I feel like it's on. Is it on Netflix? Okay,
Yeah.
so I have seen the picture. Like I'm picturing it. He has like glasses and stuff.
Yeah, he's like an author living in the woods.
So I've
basically.
never seen that either. But I've heard
it's pretty good. We
but-
watched 3 of them this weekend. 3
Which
Johnny Depp.
including the one that I had recommended so much, which you can find on HBO Max.
Yeah.
That is Black Mass. One of my personal favorite Johnny Depp films of all time, playing James Whitey Bulger from the FBI informant. Such a great freaking movie.
Justin, any thoughts on Johnny Depp? Because last week we did an entire episode about Johnny Depp's movies just because of what was going on at the moment.
Big fan of Johnny Depp. I'm not a huge movie buff, but Pirates of the Caribbean obviously was one of my favorite franchises kind of growing up. So for him.
Fair enough.
So you want to read Denny's comment?
What? Speaking of former draft picks, please tell me you all saw Micah Parsons' puck drop at the Hershey Bears game. Saw it this
Did you
morning.
see
Incredible.
Austin, did you see that?
I
Incredible.
have not seen it. No.
Oh
You
my
gotta look it
God.
up.
So Micah Parsons from Hershey, PA, by the way.
Is he actually
Yeah, he's from
Hershey?
there. Yeah.
Okay.
So he went to a Hershey Bears game. They had him as like the honorary guy to do a puck drop, like when they have like the 2 guys from each team like come up for like a photo op.
like first pitch, all that. So
Right, for
first
like a
pitch,
a photo op. So Micah Parsons like walks the carpet they have put out, and then gets to the very end of it and just drops the puck.
And there's
No
the
one's there.
players aren't set up yet or anything. He just like mic drops the puck.
He's just like looking around. He's just looking around like
What?
yeah. Did
Like,
What a
you'll
plot.
You
have
could
to
tell
look- you
he's
have to watch
never
the
been to
video.
a hockey game before.
It's incredible. It is incredible.
I love it. What a cloud. But honestly, probably the best draft pick from last year. Like, to be honest, like a lot of people can
Yeah.
argue, is it Jamar Chase? Is it Micah Parsons? I 100% believe it's Micah Parsons.
Yeah, because
I originally thought-
I didn't see. I was not expecting what he
Oh
did.
no! I
was
think
not
when I did
expecting
when I put my draft grades out on the site when I did it, I gave it like a B-
Mhm.
because I said they had plenty of linebacker help, like they had Van Der Esch, but when they put him on the edge, I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
He's a freak. Like
Yep.
this is insane.
Yep.
So I know last year for our draft conversation, we went virtually everything from the past. This time, I wanted to focus solely on this year's draft because I think it is honestly one of the most unique drafts we are ever going to see.
I was kind of hoping to revisit more Jet fan sadness this time around, Austin, but I'm okay with it. I can live with it.
Well, I
aren't
didn't
they
understand.
sad enough?
Yeah, but the Jet, you have to understand, like, if you've ever watched any previous like drafts and like any video highlights that I have consumed
Oh, yeah, 'cause
religiously,
it's normally in New York, right?
yes, it was normally in New York, and Jet fans were always very sad by the
Yeah.
picks that were taken.
Speaking of that, before we move on, Austin, Greg has to do trivia real quick.
Oh, sure. We got. Oh, Justin, you could participate in this as well if you didn't do it. So.
All right, so the first question was Drake London played wide receiver at which school? USC, Auburn, Ohio State, or Washington?
USC.
Is that your answer too, Justin?
Yeah.
All right, correct. Next one, where will the 2022 NFL draft take place? Los Angeles, New York, Las Vegas, Chicago.
Las Vegas.
Vegas.
It's supposed to be in Vegas last year. I would have loved to see all the.
Now, does it change every year now?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
Yes. Cities are now bidding on it like they do for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was always in New York.
It was always in New York, yeah.
That's what I thought. And then the last one was, who was 2021's Mr. Irrelevant, which is the last overall pick?
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lawrence, Grant Stewart, Tay Crowder, Jamar Jefferson.
What was the second guy's name?
Grant Stewart.
I'm gonna say Grant Stewart.
Justin.
I would say the third person.
Crowder.
Yeah.
Stewart.
Ah, thank God.
Crowder was the year before.
Ah.
Okay.
But I
so-
never knew that until today.
What, the Mr. Relevant
Yeah,
thing? Oh yeah. They have like a dinner for him every year and stuff like that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, they win like a free truck too and everything.
Here's a dinner. You suck.
But you're not a free agent. You're drafted.
Yeah, but
so-
you get a nice bonus because that's the thing. Like draft picks, like they get bonuses for that as compared to like as compared to the free agents and stuff.
Pretty sure
do you know who-
drafted players are fully guaranteed contracts too.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, they get fully guaranteed contracts. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know who the punter was that was Mr. Irrelevant?
He played for the Chiefs, I think. Can't remember.
He did play for the Chiefs.
Started with a J.
No, it's a popular
Yeah.
punter.
Did we sign him after?
Did he play
Like, was
for
he on the
us?
Chiefs for a while? Then we signed him for. Was it Dustin Colquitt?
No.
I don't remember. Who was it?
Ryan Suckup.
Ah, damn it! I did know that. Crap.
He's supposed to be the best Mr. Irrelevant.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree.
For a
with
while, like Suckup was kind of terrible, and then he like flourished a little bit and everything. So, I want to. Greg pointed out like the Jets real quick. Did you guys know? And Greg and I know this, but Bilal Powell apparently is returning to the Jets and retiring. And I questioned why was that news. It makes no sense. I don't think the guy really did anything relevant in the NFL at all.
that.
And they were just
Longevity.
like, there's so much draft talk. Let's just throw this in here.
Longevity's a thing, bud.
Trash longevity. What like he was supposed to take over for was he supposed to take over for Isaiah Crowell when Crowell was on the Jets and then he left?
Oh man, I think that was before Crowell.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he was before. No, like I think it was for Crowell because
I think there was a year overlap. Like
because the only time that I can think Crowell was relevant was that game versus the Browns, which he used to play on. And when he scored his touchdown, he wiped the ball with his ass and then threw it
Yep.
into the crowd.
Yep, can recall that. Yep,
It was just like, what are you doing? And they ended up losing. They ended up losing the game.
just being a goon. That's all it is, bud.
Oh, man. That was also Baker's first start. So,
Oh God.
man, times have changed.
Future Steeler.
Stop it. You stop that. But let's get into it, man. I'm excited. The draft is what we call the Super Bowl here for us at Thoughts on the Bench.
It
It
is.
is what we enjoy doing so much, from mock drafts to player scouting to embarrassing Dre at every chance that he takes for his takes.
Because he steals mine.
Yeah, well, apparently I get mine from Daniel Jeremiah. So
You
it's
do.
just-
You do.
I don't.
You have a hard on for.
Oh.
You have a hard on for
I
DJ.
clearly put my stuff out before he put his thing on
Yeah,
Trayvon.
compare
Walker.
both of them.
Yeah, he's got a hard on for DJ. It's very relevant.
All right, let's get into
All
it.
right, let's move
That's
on.
enough out of you. We're going into radical ranking number 1. All right. There are 2 positions in this year's draft that I find the most willing to talk about. So we'll talk about one here, and then we'll talk about the other one for the other radical ranking. But these are the top wide receivers in this year's draft.
I swear to God, if Alec Pierce is in here, I'm gonna smack
I
you.
wanted him so
I am
bad.
going to smack you.
I wanted him so bad.
Oh my God! For people, just for clarification for people. So this past Sunday, which will probably drop, I'm assuming tomorrow, we did a video
think so,
mock
yeah.
draft with a friend of Dre's that will be probably dropping on YouTube at some point, and he had Alec Pierce as one of his top 5 receivers, and all of us were very thrown off because he's like a round 3, round 4 guy, stuff like that. And then afterwards we get to round 2, we're doing mocks, and then this jagoff over here decides to take him in the second round.
He
The
pulled
second
that
round,
strategy
yeah,
again.
second round, easily influenced over here. Yeah.
Hey, I am saying it was for the Buffalo Bills and
Uh-huh.
their second round pick.
Oh my God. Give me a
Alec
break.
Pierce is a solid slot
Give
receiver.
me a
big slot.
break.
They just let go of Cole Beasley.
Give me a
That's it.
break.
Listen,
No. No.
He doesn't think it's bad. He says with Pierce, that's a Super Bowl caliber team. So
You are so easily influenced. It's not even funny, man. Come on.
my exact talk was, "Are you ready to love me?" And
Oh,
they were like,
that's
and he
true.
was
It
like,
was.
do it, do it, do it, do it.
See, I could see you saying like not to take that guy and then going through and picking him up, because that's normally how you do fantasy football.
Mm.
Like, oh, avoid these guys.
All right.
Yeah.
That happened
It's
one
very
time.
reverse psychology of him. Yeah.
Hey, it worked, didn't it? I got Stephon Diggs in like the 4th round that one year.
That's true.
So let's talk. The top wide receivers in this year's draft. I'm going with number 5. Arguably a guy that would flourish if the injury did not happen. So number 5, I'm going with Georgia's George Pickens.
I agree with that statement. Coming into this year, he should have been the number 1 overall receiver if he didn't tear his ACL beforehand. He played his only game I think he played in was the national championship game, and he showed out. He had the talent. He has the explosiveness that you look for. He'll be a steal in the second round for a team.
Greg, if I'm going to be honest, I think he'll go in the 1st.
I think he sneaks into the 1st.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
think
late
that a
first or
team.
middle.
Yes, late first.
Late
I
first.
think so. With the run on receivers, let me just put this into perspective, because the money factor with quarterbacks is starting to also now affect the wide receiver market. So now teams are looking at that as like they wanted quarterbacks with like a 5th-year option. Now I'm going to assume a lot of teams are going to try to snag a wide receiver in the 1st round so they can get that 5th-year option on them for monetary purposes. And honestly, the one team that I can see him going to is the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there's a real opportunity. Either that, say all the quarterbacks are gone. I say he could sneak in for Detroit's last pick if they don't trade out, because they desperately need another weapon to complement Amon-Ra St. Brown and Hawkinson.
Would you want that, Greg?
Oh, on the Lions, yes, absolutely. I would love him on the
So
Lions.
Greg also, Justin, for clarification, is the secondary Lions fan.
They're my secondary team. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I grew up a big Calvin Johnson guy, so I just kind of gravitated
Fair
towards
enough.
it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wasn't that his comp that we did on Sunday? Didn't he say George Pickens was Calvin Johnson, or was it somebody
Who?
else?
I feel like
Dre's
comping
friend.
anybody
buddy.
Calvin Johnson is just completely unfair.
No.
It
No.
must not have happened.
Calvin Johnson's like Calvin Johnson.
Judging by that
No,
reaction.
Calvin Johnson was like 6'4" and ran a 4.2. Like, he was a physical freak. George Pickens is good, but he is not anywhere close
Okay,
to that.
so but I am saying that he did comp somebody to Calvin Johnson. I'm not entirely sure who it was.
I don't
thought
remember
it was
who,
Pickens.
but I cannot wait to
That's
call out Dre.
ridiculous.
I can't wait to call out Dre if that's the case.
It happened. Let's go when the thing drops on YouTube. I'll gladly try to find it. I'll send you the exact time.
All right, go ahead.
So, number 4, we talked about with receivers. I think this guy is a prime burner. I think he's an opportunistic guy, someone that can easily help any offense. This is Chris Olave.
I had him as my number 5. I had George Pickens as an honorable mention because I couldn't decide who to put as 5 between Olave and Pickens, but I had Olave as 5.
Yeah, Justin, I don't know if you feel the same way as I do, but like the Ohio State receivers are so weird to me because there's not that one trait about them that like I can put above the other. So it's kind of like which one fits your offense more? Like, like Olave is the burner and Wilson's the route runner is kind of like the way that I would prefer to lean it towards. So it's hard for me to put them above one another.
I think they both have pretty much the same skill set though, because Olave has really good routes too. And I mean, obviously Wilson can run super quick. Like he's a vertical threat as well. So
yeah, I
think all the Ohio State receivers are pretty much the same skill set. I mean, Smith and Jigba next year is probably going to be a top 10 pick too. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think. Wilson, didn't he run like a 4.4 at the combine?
Yeah, and then Olave ran a 4.2 before it got like brought back a little because it was the unofficial time. Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of speed in this year's draft.
Yes, there is.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, there is.
There's a lot of teams that I could see Olave going to. A lot of times you will see him mocked as the Saints, either first of their 1 or 2 picks. I don't hate it because they desperately need a receiver. We don't know the situation of what is going to happen with Alvin Kamara because that just was swept under the rug. And like really nobody knows what's going on with that from the Pro Bowl incident that happened. And you can't rely on Marquez Callaway to be that number 2 alongside Michael Thomas, who should at least now I would think be 100%, right? Like missed like the last 2 years. So
we'll see.
Missing 2 years, I think you're like everybody still has him as a top 10 receiver, but I don't know how you still can missing 2 whole years.
You know what's hilarious? His contract's a bargain now.
Oh yeah.
Which is amazing.
Oh yeah. Let's hit our number 3. Personally, I think when Greg said if Pickens wasn't hurt that he would be the number 1 overall guy, I personally believe this guy, if he was not injured, he would 100% be the number 1 wide receiver. I still believe that he will be, quite frankly, the first receiver off the board. That's my honest opinion. But number 3 is Alabama's Jameson Williams.
I personally – sorry, Justin, go ahead.
I had him at 2 personally. I think he's fantastic. I mean, that torn ACL obviously is going to like suck, but he's going to – I feel like he's going to come back.
I guess that hurts you a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're going to recover from that. So
Right. Like that's always the thing with guys coming in with injuries. Which, by the way, speaking of speed, Austin, Denny apparently heard that you ran a 4.4 when they were giving out free Bud Light seltzer at the bar. Can you confirm or deny?
If I can run a 4.4 to do that, I'll gladly take it. If he says I ran a 4.4, I don't know what I would run today. So
I mean, in fairness, you are getting in shape, so I can believe that you run a 4.4 now. You just need the proper motivation.
And Miss Morgan said hi too, by the way.
Oh, hi, Miss Morgan.
Yeah. I think Jameson Williams, like if he wasn't injured, he was on pace to be the number 1 receiver taken. I've seen stuff that the Eagles want him. I've seen.
Did they just get a receiver last year though?
Devontae Smith.
They have needed a lot of receiver help. Yeah. So.
Jalen Reagor sucks.
Yeah. Yes, he does. If he goes to the Eagles,
I think he's gonna be a top 10 pick, Jameson Williams. Yeah. Honestly.
I've thought about this. I could really see the Falcons doing something at 8 where they take a receiver just because. Yeah. Yes. I could see it. But I feel like the soft spot for him is probably 15 with the Eagles.
Yeah, everyone called me a madman when I said this take that I said Jameson Williams would be the first receiver off the board and he would go to Atlanta. Look, I get that Marcus Mariota may not have the downfield stretch that Zach Wilson could give him with the Jets, but you essentially take Jameson Williams. Second round, you take Kenneth Walker, and then completely, absolutely suck this year to where you might have Calvin Ridley next year. I don't know what the whole situation of that is. I'm going to assume that he's on the team before I do anything else. So, and then you have a top opportunity to get CJ Stroud. So your offense is going to immediately change to the better.
So I think the Falcons are going to trade back, honestly.
Oh, you think, really?
Oh, without a, they have so, I mean, they have so many holes. One, their offensive line isn't that great.
Their entire offense is not that great.
Yes, I don't.
Who's the quarterback?
Their
now?
Marcus
offense wouldn't
Mariota.
have
Oh wow.
another starter. Like their best wide receiver is Olamide Zaccheaus.
Yeah. Now they have Auden Tate, which that'll do something, I guess.
No, their only bona fide starter is Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
And the GOAT, Cordero Patterson.
I believe Denard
he
Robinson
should've
coined
been
it best
wide
in
receiver.
OW, an offensive weapon.
He should have been a wide receiver. Damn you,
Don't they
Cordero.
still have Quadri Olison too? Is he still there?
He might. I'm not 100%
I
sure,
think
though.
he is, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell of a big year.
Yes, he.
Calling it now.
I hope. I hope, man. Number 2. This was honestly a little bit of, at least to me, a challenging thing because at one point I thought number 2 could be number 1, number 1 could be number 2. I think now I'm kind of set on where I want these guys to be.
I would hope
in terms
so.
of ranking. You shut up, nerd. So
The show's live, Austin. You have to have these rankings done.
Really, I thought, are we live?
I
Are we
think
live?
so. The millions of
Alright.
people are watching.
And millions.
Well, let me get the most electrifying pick out of the way for this. So number 2, I am going with the other Ohio State receiver. I am going with Garrett Wilson. I know that a lot of people may not seem high on Wilson, but in my opinion, the best route runner in this entire draft class. The best route runner. And honestly, with teams that are going to need him, I'm thinking of options of the Jets. I'm thinking of options of the Washington Commanders. Like, I think that's honestly the last place I think he could end up would be the Commanders. I don't see him falling to Philadelphia. He's too good to fall that far. But the draft has proven that weird things. I mean, Henry Ruggs was the first overall receiver taken in a draft at one point.
Didn't work out so well. Yeah.
No, not necessarily. So the draft is a very fickle, weird thing, but I'd say I would call it very surprising if Wilson were to fall back after Washington's pick.
I think Garrett Wilson's the best receiver in the class, honestly. Dude's just a freak athlete. I mean, there's that one shot of him where he's jumping up the moss someone and his waist is at the dude's head.
He goes sideways, trying to catch it. Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
If the Falcons didn't move back, I would think they would take Garrett Wilson over Jameson Williams personally. But
yeah, I think one of those two could end up with the Falcons pick. Like I said, I don't believe. Like I said, I if he somehow falls to the Eagles, you have him and Devontae Smith now with Dallas Goedert. Jalen Hurts has no excuses at this point. You're able to find any one of those guys. But, and what I would believe is the consensus of the bench, the number 1 receiver in my mind in this class is USC's Drake London.
If he did not hurt
USC.
If he did not hurt his ankle at the end of the season, around the 8th or 9th game, he would.
I was going to say week 8. I think it was.
There'd be no discussion. He was on pace. He was on pace to put up very strong numbers, and he would be the number 1 receiver. I think he's proven to be healthy right now. He can start right away, and I think he is probably going to be the first receiver taken.
Now. So that would be to what? I mean, a lot of mocks you have that Malik Willis going to Atlanta. So I don't know if you would have him going to Atlanta or if you would have him going to the Jets or.
4 at the Jets is a little too rich for me.
Well, I wouldn't say 4. I'd probably say 10.
Yeah, so like 10 would be
there.
10 would be the 10 would be the sweet spot for me. So I feel like he'll be 10 to the Jets because I can't see a top 5. I can't see him as a top 5 pick. And after that, it's like it's kind of iffy. Like, because I can't imagine the Giants take a receiver. I can maybe see the Falcons do it, but I think they like one of the Ohio State guys a little more. And Seattle, they're not taking a receiver unless they trade Metcalf. So I think London to the Jets is probably like the safest bet to make.
It's an interesting scenario, Greg, because I could see him going to the Jets because he has that 50-50 ability that not any of the receivers have in New York. However, I have him most likely in all the mocks that I've done, I have him going to the Philadelphia Eagles. I know that I'm saying he's the number 1 receiver, but I think the other needs of these other receivers are going to complement other teams better to where Jalen Hurts is going to get a Mike Evans 2.0 alongside Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. And he is going, I mean, he can sling it. Like Jalen Hurts is no like shy person of throwing it down the field. And I think that's where Drake London comes in immensely for that offense.
See, I think the Commanders are going to swoop in, take him before that, because Carson Wentz, his favorite receivers are those big-bodied, can catch anything that's even thrown kind of near him to bail him out, since he's not always the most accurate.
That's putting it lightly.
Putting it lightly.
I see him going 11 to the Commanders. And I don't see him going to the Jets because I think the Jets are looking for their speed. And I mean, he's pretty fast, but if you got Jamison Williams or Chris Olave, I think Jets are going to go with one of them.
Yeah, it's weird because someone was pointing out that some reporter was saying that Jamison Williams has Tyreek Hill level speed. And I don't necessarily know if I believe that.
No,
but
I believe a lot.
Let's not pretend that the Jets were not in on the Tyreek Hill sweep. They have been on every single of these big name receivers of Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin. They've been on every single one of these guys. So it's no secret they're looking for a wideout. I think that the 50-50 case maybe helps him a little bit in there, Justin, where if Zach Wilson can sling the ball, that he can go up and get it. The problem is I believe you. I think they're looking for the speed, and I think that Atlanta is just looking for best talent available. So in my mind, that's where I see kind of like Drake London maybe falling to the Eagles. However, I have seen multiple mocks of him going to the Texans because the Texans just need overall players, like a value. Like, you can't tell me not having him and Brandon Cooks would be great for your offense. So I don't know. Vo, do you have any opinions, or have you not seen any of them yet?
I
just say fight on and
fight on. I'm a USC fan, so I like him at number 1. I have seen him play, and he has potential for sure.
Now,
what I think is crazy is you don't have Treylon Burks in your.
So we had to talk about this.
He got convinced to take Treylon Burks off. I know it.
How?
It. Because of literally the video that you'll see probably dropping on YouTube most likely tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'll leave that for up to Batum when that video drops because the argument is very convincing in my honest opinion. I think that he has one opportunity to do well and to go to a certain team. If he lands on that team, I think that he will do just fine. It just wouldn't be any of these guys. So, but those
what do you think if it's the 49ers?
No, I actually have Treylon Burks, I think, being the one of the first picks of the Green Bay Packers. I think that they're going to implement a very run-heavy offense to start, and Treylon Burks, while he has the speed and everything to do all those slant routes, he can easily take, not Deebo Samuel snaps out of the back, but he can do it like runarounds with the ball. Yeah, so I think that he'd be able to do that very well. Plus, having Aaron Rodgers with you, Sammy Watkins is not going to work out. I don't care what anybody says. I think that was stupid of a signing, but
it's an insurance policy. Be nice.
The only thing I think wrong with that is because they have Alan Lazard and he's that big body, like definitely not a burner. I feel like in an Aaron Rodgers offense, you need somebody that can be faster
which
and
means
kind
that
of
no
run
rec-
every route.
which means if this is an Aaron Rodgers offense, there will be no receivers. Knowing the Packers. But those are the top wide receivers. Now let's get to the second position for Radical ranking number 2. All right, guys, we have talked wide receivers, and honestly, the other position that I think we could go into a lot of detail is, I believe, the most important position for this year's draft, and that is the edge class. So we are going to discuss the top edge rushers in this class.
You excited for this one?
There better be someone specifically at number 1 that I know he loves very much.
Uh-oh.
He's there, Greg. I'm saying he's on the list. Just, I love him a lot. However, the edge class is so deep in this draft that I believe if any one of these other guys would have been taken, would have applied for the draft last year, they would have been immediately top picks. So already we are going to see how well this edge class can do. I'm going to start off with a hot take here. So at my number 5, I have Penn State's Arnold Ebiketie.
He's been a riser lately. Yeah, Deke was very high on him as like a late first round guy now. So I think part of it for me, I would still say that because of David Ojabo's injury that he rose up a bit. That's just my opinion. I can definitely see why people kind of like him. I still think he's more of a early second instead of a late first guy, but it's crazy stuff happens.
So I will say that David Ojabo really crossed my mind for this, but knowing how close to the draft the injury was, I immediately know that it would have to be a late round playoff team that would take him. Honestly, if I'm not pressing my luck here, the Buffalo Bills acquire a lot of talent that people just don't do. I could easily see them taking David Ojabo with their first overall pick. They don't have to play him right away, which is great because he can rehabilitate that injury. But I just think that in terms of the talent right now with that injury, I think that he's very much in the early second round conversation because it just didn't look good. I remember Justin and I watched it on our boys' weekend trip, and it just he didn't even. Justin will say that he didn't look like he tore anything right away, and I say no, that's a tear, that's bad.
I thought it was just a high ankle sprain at first.
No. I don't think high ankle sprain. You'd be down and out for a good bit.
Hey, they hurt. They hurt.
They do. Hey, I'm not taking that away from you, but I'm just saying that with that injury, it has to be a playoff team that takes him, because if not, he's going to fall into the second round. But Ebiketie, however, has been rising up boards to the point where I thought Boye Mafe would rise. Ebiketie is taking that step away from him. And I think that he could easily end up with, I think I've seen him mocked as high as the Eagles' second round or second pick. I know that's really high, but I don't hate it either, because I think any of these guys at the edge position can absolutely flourish. I just think that would have to be a late first round pick for Ebiketie, maybe the Chiefs, because I know that they've been looking for that edge help. You could argue also maybe if the Lions somehow don't take an edge rusher with their second overall pick, I could easily see them taking it with their 32nd.
Yeah, they desperately need pass rush.
Packers second pick.
Packers would be another one. Yep.
Packers definitely need pass rush help too. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
So many teams with 2 overall first picks in the draft, first round. It's so nuts.
I had Ebiketie as my number 5 too. Actually, I put him in instead of your boy, Jermaine Johnson.
Oh, well then let's get to number 4. because he is my boy. Jermaine Johnson at number 4, Florida State. Originally a part of the Georgia Bulldogs defense, decided that he wanted to be that focal point on the defensive side of the ball somewhere else so that he could be the star. And man, did he prove it at Florida State. And then his draft stock, Greg will argue this because he's starting to get on the train, on board the train now. But originally he was, which I think most people would be like iffy on, because after the Senior Bowl, his draft stock shot up.
Yeah, it
shot up
skyrocketed. So I immediately was like, I have reservations right away, just for that, right away. But when I start looking into it and I see ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Last Chance U guy, worked his way up to getting a lot of this, and just the athleticism showing up, I can kind of see it now. I'm not resistant to it. I can actually see why he deserves a top pick. He actually has the production to match it up. He's not a tool guy. He's not a potential guy like someone else that's going to be on this list soon that Austin adores. So I can at least appreciate this one a little bit more.
Yeah, I just it's no secret that I had him on a list of my guys that I put my list on. I love the kid. And I know this next one's going to be a shock. I know, because he is my other loved edge rusher here. I think the kid has the talent.
Austin.
I know. Believe me. I think he has the talent. Where I believe he has the talent versus where he'll go in the draft is very, very different. Because I think that he very well could be the first overall pick. And that is Georgia edge rusher Trayvon Walker.
It will be a massive mistake.
I love this kid so much.
He was the 9th best player on that Georgia defense, and I'm going to continuously say that until he is picked number 1 overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Austin, you're saying he's going to go number 1? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, there's a very good possibility.
He's the Vegas favorite now.
Yes, it's insane, but I don't hate it because people talk, man. People talk, and everyone's like, "Well, what did he do since the championship game to earn himself number 1?"
Nothing.
But it doesn't matter.
You're not a fan.
No,
well, you think he's good, but not that good.
So when he brought this up with Jermaine Johnson, like the helium on Jermaine Johnson, I was a little taken aback by. But at least with Jermaine Johnson, I can see the reasoning for it. Like, he at least had the production to back it up. What I tell you about Trayvon Walker, I am 100% honest when I tell you that he was either the 8th or 9th best player on that Georgia defense. And it was a damn good Georgia defense. Probably one of the best defenses I've ever seen in college football before, behind that Hurricane team in the 2000s. But Trayvon Walker is all project. He's all project. He's got the tools. Don't get me wrong. It's tempting. If you have the right coaching staff that can bring it out of you, sure. I can see it, but no, he is not the best player in this class.
If he's not going number 1, where do you think he would go
though? Giants 5 or 7 would be interesting. Really, the Falcons could use pass rush. Honestly, that would be an interesting pick there. That's kind of like the sweet spot for me. But number 1's just way too high. I'm sorry.
He also doesn't want to admit the Lions because the Lions have been linked to Trayvon Walker.
Well, the Lions need pass rush help. So at some point, I know it's pick my poison at this point. But Dan Campbell's already been on record saying that he hates Kayvon Thibodeau. So I'm not surprised.
See, I think that Walker is an amazing run blocker or run defender. His pass rushing needs work, but
right.
Jacksonville is in a division with Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. They need that elite run defender. Yep. And Trayvon Walker is the best run defender, besides Jordan Davis. But, they're not the same position. You can't take a nose tackle first overall.
That's right.
I see Walker as a 3-4 defensive end. So, and Jacksonville runs a 3-4. So, put him inside next to Josh Allen. I think that could be
it's a beast.
Yeah.
Let's say it. Now, yeah. I like I said, I firmly believe, I think this kid can go number 1 overall, But in terms of overall, like let's set the stories aside. Like, I don't believe in terms of stories that he's the best edge rusher in this class. And I'll get into that with number 2, because this kid was, after last year's draft, and even before then, he was the number 1 overall pick that people saw in a lot of people's eyes. And I believe that stories and everything are coming out that are tarnishing that. And it's Kayvon Thibodeau at number 2.
Yeah, in terms of
I
talent.
just I like his last name.
Oh, the name's awesome. The name's awesome. What I appreciate about Thibodeau is that he recognizes the fact that a lot of people were comparing him to Jadeveon Clowney 2.0, and he has the self-awareness to say that he can be better, because I am of the opinion that Jadeveon Clowney is a bust. But that is neither here nor there, and I think that Thibodeau needs to be in the right situation for him to succeed, because talent-wise he's there. But like, he's kind of in that Derek Stingley mold where, like, freshman year he showed up, and then after that it was just kind of like flashes.
He was just there.
He was just there at flashes. Yeah.
Yeah, there were multiple times that like he would make an amazing play and then he would get burned for like the next 2. So I don't hate the take. My honest opinion, I think that he would be wonderful on 2 teams, and they both have 2 picks in this draft. And I could see him going to the Jets, and I could see him going to the Giants. I know that he believes in his own mind. He said that there's nothing that a coach can teach me, which I think a lot of coaches are now looking at as, is it going to be a good locker room presence?
That's why Dan Campbell came out and was not a fan of him. So
right. And that he's talking about like owning his own businesses, his NFTs and everything. So I don't hate where people are coming with this, because when you see that, you're thinking, is this going to be a great locker room guy? But the talent is certainly there.
Yeah. And,
there are some teams that have him mocked as early as number 3 to the Texans. I don't hate that either, because they just need everything.
Yeah. Grind Project, what up, bud?
Oh, welcome, Grind Project. Glad to see you're here.
He did text me the order for the great debate already.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Justin, what are your thoughts on Thibodeau?
Robert Sala's gonna love Thibodeau.
Yes.
All right. I can get with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have him going to the Jets. So his
Justin, we're
Robert
dog
Saleh
friendly on
loves
this show.
his
Don't
edge
worry.
rushers, his front 7, and the front 7's already pretty good. But throw in Thibodeau, have him, learn under Saleh, who obviously coached Nick Bosa to be a stud.
Yeah.
He's not in Nick Bosa's category yet, but
yeah. Here's the other thing too, by the way, and people forget about this. Like, Quentin Williams, even though he's kind of a goof and does some dumb stuff off the field, Quentin Williams has been a very good defensive tackle.
he's a dog.
He is.
He's a dog.
He's very good, and he's super young too. You put him on a line with Williams and stuff, that could be an interesting pairing for years to come.
Yeah, and you already have Carl Lawson on the other side,
and he was injured all of last year too. So
Exactly.
Imagine if he was fully healthy. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're gonna most likely have a healthier Carl Lawson. You're gonna have there are a lot of times where we say that Thibodeau could go 4. If they don't go Thibodeau, I 100% see them taking Sauce, and then Brian Dable sweeps up at number 5 and takes Thibodeau at 5, which again is not a bad take at all, because I think what Brian Dable was able to do for that Buffalo Bills team is unreal.
Wait, real quick, Justin, you immediately shook your head no when he immediately said Sauce. What's up with that? You're not a fan of the Sauce?
I love Sauce. No, I think Saleh would not like Sauce though, because the one thing that I don't like about him is his tackling. He's not eager to tackle, I guess. He's shut down corner, aggressive against wide receivers, but Saleh wants his cornerbacks to be good tacklers too, which is why if they do go cornerback in one of their picks, I think they would go Stingley.
Joe wouldn't hate. So then that obviously leaves what was the former Vegas odd to be the number 1 overall pick, now the number 2 which I know Greg would be doing laps and jumping jacks for joy.
I will do
if
them
they
on
would
air.
land
I will
this
do
guy.
them on air.
Oh, really?
I will do jumping jacks on air if Aiden Hutchinson is pick number
Yep.
2. I can't.
So
confirm.
Aiden Hutchinson is the number 1 edge rusher. Look, I know that people are starting to compare him to, Nick and Joey Bosa. I don't think any of these guys are in that category yet, but Hutchinson was able to prove that, coming back that last year was able to make a strong name for himself, where originally, like I said, Kayvon Thibodeau was the number 1 solidified overall pick until Hutchinson proved otherwise. That for, I would say, months now, probably like 2 months, Hutchinson was considered like the number 1 overall pick until this latest Trayvon Walker, like, busting news. So, but the kid is just a freak, like overall, like just athletic monster. So having him either on Jacksonville, on the Lions, like whatever team picks him, they are going to certainly love him.
One word: motor.
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 You know what else is good in? You know what's good in Detroit, Greg? Motors.
Yes.
Motor City.
I'm glad you understand the connection, Glenn.
Justin, any thoughts on Hutchinson, bud?
I think he's a solid pick. I had Thibodeau as my number 1 edge, but Hutchinson was my number 2. I think he has a slightly lower ceiling because, like he's already like very technical with his pass rushing. He's got shorter arms, which a lot see as a negative as an edge rusher, but because he's so technical, he still knows how to get around the defenders. So
Right.
I'm high on him too, but I think Thibodeau has a lower floor but a higher ceiling than Aiden Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't hate that. And this, I mean, there's so many other guys, like I said, that are. You have the likes of George Karlaftis. You have Boy Mafe. You have like Logan Hall out of Houston. Like there's so many great edge rushers in this class that any one of these guys that go to any edge needy team is going to automatically flourish in that defense. All right. Wide receivers are done. Edge rushers are done. Now it is everyone's favorite time of the show. It is time for the great, oh yeah, debate. Okay, guys, the great debate is listed as very simple, which they normally are, but sometimes they get very complicated. So, the great debate for this: which team will reach this year in the NFL draft?
Or a better way to put it, which team is going to do something stupid this year?
Which team is going to pull a Raiders?
Yes, that's the best way we can say it.
Oh, man. So, Vo, I know you said that Forager had sent the draft order. So
yes, he did.
By the way, Grind Project, I miss you too. Just saying.
And also, I'd like to say that for Radical Rankings 1 and 2, you picked a USC guy and a Michigan guy. I like both teams, so I agree with you on those.
He does.
So
I'm
good
glad
job.
I was able to
his fandom is all over the place. I
So
can't
good.
confirm. Mm-hmm.
But Grind Project gave us the order. It's going to go Justin, Austin, Greg, me.
Alrighty.
All right. So I think that the New Orleans Saints are going to trade into the top 10
Okay.
to pick Malik Willis.
So you consider that a reach? Okay.
I think I don't think Malik Willis he's a big project. He's so inaccurate. Like if you actually like watched the games, I went back and like looked at some of his games. There's just some throws that are just like, what are you doing? And I think accuracy is a tough thing to actually teach in the NFL. So I don't know. I just personally think that I could see him in the first round, but to move in to the top 10 to draft him, which I think the New Orleans Saints will do. I think they're going to trade with the Falcons. to.
Ooh, an interdivision trade.
I
Ooh.
do. I think it's going. I'm
Ooh.
getting spicy.
I know I'm feeling the heat, Juddy. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my hot take, my hot reach for the draft.
Okay.
I like it.
Alrighty. I know that it is not a first round selection team that I'm picking here, which is a little iffy, but we've seen this team miss on countless occasions. The Chicago Bears will reach and they will fall again. And my reasoning, their two biggest needs in this draft are offensive tackle and wide receiver. You have to replace Allen Robinson. Something is telling me they're going to take the wrong guy at wide receiver, and Justin Fields is going to be like sitting at home, be like, "You fucking idiots! What are you doing?" Like, I believe that their offensive tackle, they are going to be looking for someone. I know it's gonna, but like when you get past all like the Evan Neals and the Ike Aquanos, like they're I think their highest opportunity offensive tackle to draft in this is going to be Bernhard Raymond. And I don't know if he's essentially ready for that, like starting, I believe, left tackle, if I'm mistaken. I don't know if it's left or right, Greg. I think it's left.
Raymond, he'll probably need to be a right tackle to start. Because he's
right,
not...
but I'm saying I think he played preferably left tackle in
yes,
college.
he would prefer to be left tackle, but I think Raymond needs to get more experience before they dump him at left tackle. But then again, who do we know? I mean, Dan Moore was a left tackle for us, so it worked out.
That's very true. Something tells me at wide receiver they're gonna draft David Bell, and I hate David Bell so much.
What's wrong with David Bell?
I don't like him, Greg. I don't like the stats that he put up. I know they were like okay in the Purdue offense. I don't like the combine stats that he put up. They were not good at all. And I know it's hard. You know, why would you judge off the combine and everything? That's what everybody's doing with Jordan Davis and Trayvon Walker. Like, I know those two were dogs before the combine, but because of the combine, they were able to skyrocket their draft stock. Whereas I think David Bell's draft stock immensely went down with other receivers, the likes of like Christian Watson and George Pickens and even Sky Moore. Like, all those guys are rising, where you're going to have to find a complement to Darnell Mooney. I don't necessarily think they're going to pick the right selection, especially in that division they're in, where they think that, you know, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the weapons. Detroit's rebuilding. Minnesota is, I don't know what Minnesota's doing. They just suck. I don't know what they're doing. So I believe they're in the opportunity to try to take that division. I think they're going to swing and miss hard again.
Okay, so first of all, you put some respect on the Dancing Bears name.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Don't you besmirch him just because he did what...
Greg, I'm not besmirching
you besmirched him just a teeny bit.
I clearly said those two were dogs before the combine,
All right.
and they got even better after.
Just respect the Dancing Bear. That's all I ask.
Right.
Now, for my reaches, the two fun ones that I could say are Trayvon Walker going to the Jags, which would be a massive mistake. I could also say Derek Stingley going 3 overall to the Texans, which is starting to become kind of a popular one, I think. But I think a reach for me will be the Dallas Cowboys. Instead of investing into their offensive line like they desperately need to, will instead fall in love with a wide receiver. Mind you, one that probably went to Jerry Jones's university and alma mater of Arkansas. And probably take Treylon Burks.
Oh no, dude! That's so bad if that happens. Like, I know that they have CeeDee Lamb. You have Michael Gallup. You paid him that money, so you're trying to bring Burks in to essentially replace that Amari Cooper role. Not the same boat. Not the same boat.
I can see it. And here's my caveat, and I'm gonna bring this up. I know Treylon Burks might not be the favorite amongst people, but I brought this up on the video that will drop. For me, with regards to it, Burks is the entire reason that Arkansas was 8-4 last year.
Right.
And I put a lot of stock in that when a receiver puts up the numbers that he did and just took over a game. And that's kind of why I have him in a higher regard than other receivers that might not be looked at in that way.
I don't hate it. It's like no one thought that they would have taken CeeDee Lamb either.
He was too good to pass up. He was just too good to pass up.
Cock the Eagles once again. That's bastards. All right, so you have Dallas. I have Chicago. Justin has New Orleans. Vo. As big of a person of the draft
Just
as
do
you are.
whatever, but it's fine.
Doesn't have to be even a player, just can be a team.
I just think whoever the Texans will draft, his career is going to go down the drain.
That's a fair.
They're just a terrible team.
That's fair. That's
So
very.
that
That's very fair.
doesn't matter who they're going to take. But
No
I'm
confidence in
sorry.
Lovie
I'm
Smith,
sorry
huh?
for your career is now over.
For a lot of times that everyone thought that was the motto of the Cleveland Browns. It's like whoever got drafted is like, oh shit, I'm a
Yeah.
Cleveland Brown. No.
I mean, even the Browns, they're kind of falling apart now, aren't they?
Yeah, but they don't pick till the second round, so they kind of get a little bit of a pass. If we're going reaches for the Texans, I would say Charles Cross at 3 would be a reach.
That's a reach. Yep.
I would say Trevor Penning at 3 would be a reach. I would say a receiver at 3 would be a reach.
Who's their quarterback now?
Davis
Mills, who
I think is going to be good for the record.
people could say what they want. Last year, I thought he was better than a lot of the other like prospects that were drafted ahead of him.
Oh yeah,
He threw 450 yards against a Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
yeah. No, the
As
guy's
a
going
rookie.
to be good.
That's unbelievable.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only they won that game, right? Like he was the only maybe he didn't
See,
I don't remember that.
I think it was a shootout. I do think that the Patriots might have ended up.
Okay, because I couldn't remember if like that was the one, because I know that if there's one thing Bill Belichick loves doing, it's embarrassing rookie quarterbacks.
Exactly.
And
And
Davis
the fact
Mills
that he threw
completely
450
turned that.
yards.
Yeah.
No, that's
when
crazy.
when your top receiver is Brandon Cooks, which I no disrespect on Brandon Cooks, I love him, 1,000-yard receiver wherever he is. But you have like Rex Burkhead, that was your main running back.
Who else is a receiver on that team? I can't.
What's his name? Nico Collins, which I don't
Oh
think.
wow, I forgot about him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was even healthy for that game, so I don't even think he played. Your tight end situation, you drafted Brevin Jordan last year.
Yeah.
So the team desperately needs stuff, but yeah, to throw that kind of passing yardage against a Bill Belichick defense is impressive nonetheless. I think that the Texans, with their 2 picks, I personally think that they'll go offensive tackle, and then their second pick they'll line up on the defense. Personal opinions, I think that it could either be Evan Neal or Ike Ekwonu. I don't think I would hate any of those two at the number 3 spot.
No, those are great.
You could put
great options.
You could put Neal on right or was it Neal? No, well, we talked about this on the video, Greg, that Neal would play left tackle and Tunsil would move out to right tackle.
Yes.
Or you could put Icky in for
You can put Icky at 4 different positions and he would excel.
Who's playing? There was a tackle that was
Titus
playing,
Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could bump him out to tackle and put Icky in at guard, and
That's what I think they're gonna do. I think that I would go Ike Ekwonu just because he can play that right tackle or guard, and then whichever one he doesn't play, then Titus Howard can play.
Yeah, and then their second pick, I have a very popular selection of Jermaine Johnson with Houston with their number 13 overall.
Jermaine Johnson at 3 would also be a reach for the record.
Oh yeah, that's I love the kid, but the 3. Well, come on now.
When you said Trevor Penning at 3, if anybody even takes him in the first round,
Really?
I hate Trevor Penning.
Why? What's wrong with Penning?
Because he's garbage. No, his move that makes him look like so big and tough is just holding and then tossing him to the ground, which he did that at the Senior Bowl and about tore Desmond Ritter's ACL. He threw him into his own quarterback. Like, what?
So
no, I just don't think
there
he's
is
good.
one team that I could see Trevor Penning going to, and that is the Chargers, just because they desperately need to fill that like right tackle position. So Penning wouldn't play left tackle where he would be like the blind spot for
Rayshawn Slater is also there too. So
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you put Slater in for left tackle, Penning at right tackle. That way he's not throwing the guy into the quarterback. So, but
He'd
yeah,
find a way.
he'd be like, "You're going over here."
get over here.
The bone saw roll. Like, I got you for 3 minutes. I don't hate these. I think this was fun, guys. So to recap, Justin took New Orleans, I took Chicago, Greg took Dallas, and Vo took Houston. I love all these. Somehow I think that Seattle will blow it because they just never have first round picks. So it all depends. I mean, you know, any one of these teams can miss. We've proven that on timeless occasions that, oh, like this guy looks really good in the draft, and then they absolutely suck when they get picked. So, which I actually didn't know, Greg. Did you know Rashad Evans, who was a linebacker for the Titans?
Mhm.
He's now in Atlanta, I think.
Yeah, his fifth-year option got declined, and he was a free agent. He didn't light the world on fire at all for them. Yeah.
No, like, and I was mad when they took him because I was like, we desperately needed a middle linebacker.
It's amazing what hindsight does. Yeah.
It's insane, man.
Mhm.
But all right, everyone, go get a drink, go use the restroom, whatever you need to do. Bring back your draft takes because when we come back, we are talking the top 10 draft predictions. Stay tuned.
Let's dive right into sports, as I have strong opinions on that. Which college team could beat a professional team in the same sport right now?
Okay.
There is not a single answer that is better than the LSU Tigers defeating the Cincinnati Bengals.
Even if I know the pitch that's coming, every other part of me is still normal.
That's why it's frustrating for me, Greg.
It's like okay, if I know what something is coming, I know ahead of time. I still have to be able to do the action to get the result that I need.
Okay, so they won 3 games in 10 years with 3 rebuilds.
I don't lose at arguments. All right.
Especially about fast food. So yeah.
You will never walk alone. Guess what? Now you will. Coronavirus.
I barely touch my girlfriend's cat. The most I'd be willing to do is like just kind of put my finger on its forehead and just like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with us is Alex Kazor from Steelers Depot.
We are live with Ryan Smith, professional cornhole player in the ACL. Ryan,
What all franchises were you able to work with in the NHL?
With Phoenix, Carolina, and Detroit.
No.
So here is Moorhead's ranking. Moorhead is my cousin. He is the rank king.
Higher
Top 10 extra Power Rangers.
Oh.
This is the top 10 emo songs of the 2000s.
There's only one correct answer for number 1. Why is F is for Family better than Futurama when Futurama is like Star Wars for potheads? Like
I know.
I'm
We have one or two that are mad in the chat.
You're welcome for that.
Okay, we're gonna get banned.
Ooh, did you get a coffee, Jetty?
I did, yes.
That Starbucks trip was quick, man. You're already back. All right, guys. the position was pointed out. As you all know, whenever we have a guest, we have a versus top 10. So I proposed Justin the challenge of the top 10 draft predictions. I think that when I did this last year, everyone was like losing their minds because a lot of them were just like out of the box, crazy takes that, I mean, they were solidified. I had my reasonings. So it's not like I just put it on there and was like, this person's going to go here.
How many of them did come true, actually? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Hey, I think there were 3 maybe that came true. Right?
Yeah.
Which isn't bad.
A 30% may look bad in the eyes of people, but I consider that a win. So.
And remember, he is a teacher.
Foreigner said he'd love to see the new king, because for a minute you guys are switched from the last time.
Tell him he's a nerd.
I mean, you can tell him he's
literally watching right now. Yeah.
Nerd. I don't associate my time with peasants. You know that.
Damn. So
no,
impressive.
we love you, Ford. We love you, Ford.
Dude literally fills in for me when I can't make it. Like, come on, be nice to him.
Yeah, come on, Austin.
Don't be nice to people. All right. So how this is gonna work? Justin will give his number 10. I will give my number 10, and we will domino back and forth from there. So, Justin, whenever you are ready, you are on the clock for your top 10 draft predictions.
All right, my number 10. One running back is going to be taken in the first round.
What? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I'm here for this.
No way.
I have a couple spicy ones in here and a couple that are like, okay, obviously. But yeah, I think the Bills.
So I was about to say, I was going to guess who it would have been. Bills were the one to take it. So
I know they need edge help, but I think because this is so deep in the edge class, I think they can get one in the second round. And it's between Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall. They're both just absolute dogs. And I think that's like their biggest need on offense. If they can get a run game and not have Josh Allen as their number one running option, they're going to be unstoppable. And plus running back helps pace the game. So
that's true.
I think they get one in the first round.
So I don't hate the take, Juddy, because as for a person that loved the Zach Moss selection when they picked that, and then I picked him in fantasy, and when Devin Singletary wasn't showing out, they literally had week 1, they had Zach Moss a healthy scratch, and he was like, all right, bet. And then the next game he came out and like dominated on the run game, and I was like, please let this be like the return of Zach Moss, please. I love the kid so much, but I really do believe. Whoop.
Whoa, what happened?
Whoa, there you are. What happened there? You good?
I don't know what happened, but the video just stopped.
Oh.
Okay. Do we need to switch cameras again, Bo? Are we good?
No, you're good.
We're fine.
Okay.
I thought that I was messing with something. I was like, oh, what did I do? But
but I very much can see. I don't know if it's their first pick, Juddy. That's a nice spicy take. I love it. But I definitely could see them taking like Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker with their second, and maybe going in the direction of corner. Maybe in their first one, either Trent McDuffie or Andrew Booth. I think any one of those guys would be great alongside Tre'Davious White. I will say my number 10. And I know that it's a little bit of a contradiction to what I said earlier, but it could very well happen. Both Michigan edge rushers will go in the first round, that being Aiden Hutchinson and that being David Ojabo.
I'm all about this one. All about it. People are willing to use that 5th-year option as like reasoning for taking guys who are injured. Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, let's not argue the fact that David Ojabo at one point was a top 10 pick.
Yes.
Before he got injured. So having both of these guys, I mean, let's say this. I know that they desperately need edge help. Can you imagine if the Lions took Hutchinson and in the second round took Ojabo?
I might cry.
That's Greg's wet dream right there.
I might cry. Yes.
I mean, we've seen that. We've seen multiple. I mean, what was it? Denver. Denver took 2 wide receivers with their like number 1 and number 3 picks. So it's not out of the water that the same position cannot be taken for a team. And with the Lions desperately needing some edge help, you imagine Ojabo on one side and Hutchinson on the other side, reliving the Michigan days in Detroit. Whew, that'd be swell. But that is my number 10. Both of them will go in the first round. What do you got, Juddy?
Yeah. So my number 9, we got 2 quarterbacks go in the top 10, and then 1 goes to the Lions at 32. So only 3 quarterbacks in the first round.
Who is that quarterback you're thinking at 32?
32, they would probably, I would say, either go Desmond Ridder or Matt Corral.
Okay.
Because I think Kenny Pickett goes number 6 to. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We're dog
people.
We're dog friendly here. Yeah, don't worry
If
about
that
it.
was a cat, we'd not-
If this was a cat, we would have major problems. So don't worry about it.
Only dogs.
Yeah, only dogs. Only dogs here.
Okay. So yeah, I think Kenny Pickett
Hopefully Bree
goes
heard me.
number 6 to Carolina, just because he's already got ties with Matt Rule, because Matt Rule recruited him to Temple before he got the job at Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's the most like
pro-ready,
plug and play right away.
And he's a Panther. So. Makes sense to go to the Panthers.
Season ticket holder, baby, with him.
And then I mentioned this earlier, but I think the Saints move into the top 10 to pick Malik Willis. And then at the end, Detroit wants to get a quarterback so that in the first round, so that it's still a 5th-year option.
Yeah.
And I think they go with either Matt Corral or Desmond Ridder, which I actually would really like Desmond Ridder there.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think he's just as ready as Kenny Pickett. I think he's a little bit over Kenny Pickett in my opinion, and I love Kenny Pickett.
I don't hate it.
You know what I do hate, Austin? Foringer's comment.
Oh, what does he say?
Cats are better than
what
dogs.
the hell?
Such a silly boy.
Foringer.
Look, I have a cat, and I think that dogs are better than cats.
Jesus,
so
man.
That's saying something. All right, my number 9.
With you?
My number 9. Man, I would hate this, but my number 9 is Tyler Linderbaum becomes a Bengal.
You think he falls that far?
Yes. There are mocks where I have Tyler Linderbaum falling out of the first round now because of just other needs.
No.
Yes, I'm telling you. The center position, I know, because people are like, well, interior offensive line, like when you have like Linderbaum, 100% of my honest opinion, is the top interior offensive lineman in this class. You know, you could argue Kenyon Green, you could argue Zion Johnson, but he's the best solidified. We talk about this all the time. There are 2 number 1 solidified guys in their positions. That's Linderbaum at center, and that is Kyle Hamilton at safety. With this, though,
Jordan Davis at nose.
I know some. I get it, Jelly. I know.
Here's the thing, though. Like, that's not bad, but the problem is that like in today's NFL, like nose tackle and defensive tackle are kind of like
they're regarded in like the safety where they're like safety guarded almost. So I don't hate that take, Greg. But I'm telling you, like the Bengals, they're one piece of the offensive line that is missing is center. Now, I don't think they'll trade up to get him. I personally believe that Linderbaum will fall to the Bengals. I don't see – maybe you could argue if the Eagles had their 3 first-round picks that I think Linderbaum could be one of those picks. But now that they only have 2, they're going to need a receiver and they're going to need a corner, in my honest opinion. That will come ahead. Now, the only other team that I could honestly see taking Linderbaum is Dallas. Like Dallas could take Linderbaum and put him in at center. Yeah. But name another team that would need a center. The Tampa Bay doesn't need one with Jensen coming back.
Steelers.
I wouldn't be surprised with that. Vikings just decided they're not picking up the 5th-year option on Garrett Bradbury, so that would be another interesting scenario. I could see the Giants needing a center in the worst way, honestly, because they just need help on the offensive line. Yeah.
Linderbaum too is he only plays center. He can't play guard at all. So I could see him definitely falling, but man, that far.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we didn't think that Landon Dickerson could play guard either, but that's what he's transitioned to in the Eagles. He's transitioned to a guard, and that's why I personally don't think that the Philadelphia Eagles will take him, because once Jason Kelce is retired, if they have another interior offensive lineman, they will plug him in and then plug Landon Dickerson in at center so that they don't have another like miscue. So yes, when you take all those into consideration, the only team that really needs a center is the Bengals.
I'll be so upset. Keedy will be thrilled, and he won't even
he'll
understand.
Be thrilled, man.
Keedy doesn't even know what a center is, probably.
Stop it. All right, Juddy, number 8.
Trayvon Walker does indeed go number 1 overall.
Yep.
So, I know I've been saying this for a little while now, but because that division has so many runners with Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry that you need to be able to stop the run to go anywhere.
Yep.
And Trayvon Walker will immediately improve your run defense.
Yep. You could also argue the fact that, like, if Atlanta were to take Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker, like, you got to stop them too. I love Patterson, but he's primarily a pass guy, pass out of the backfield kind of thing. You know, that's why everybody loved him, you know. So stupid. I always hate that. All right. I love it, Juddy, because I firmly believe it'll happen. So my number 8, let's talk about the linebacker class. I wanted this guy so bad, and Greg stole him out from underneath to be one of his guys. I know I would have had too many Georgia Bulldogs, being that Jermaine Johnson was once a Georgia Bulldog, but I don't care.
Hang on. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, that is true. I did steal because we did a draft in order to decide who got them. My bad. Yeah. My bad.
So in my number 8, Nakobe Dean is the first linebacker taken ahead of Devin Lloyd.
The heat-seeking missile. Although I will be thrilled.
Is that Lloyd related to the Steelers, Lloyd?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. But I love both of these guys so much. I think, and I have been preaching this too, Devin Lloyd honestly should be higher because he's had a very good year. But Nakobe Dean is being so disrespected in this class. It is unbelievable. And it is the curse of the undersized linebacker that is rearing its ugly head, and I am not here for it.
No. And some people are saying that now Quay Walker could go ahead of Nakobe Dean.
Now that is some crap. Let me tell you that.
I said the disrespect stops here, man. The disrespect stops here. I love Nakobe Dean. In my honest opinion, an instant game changer in the Patriots system. Instant changer.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Nakobe Dean's a dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's that pure athletic
people.
freak, man.
I see people mocking him in the 2nd round, and I'm just like,
disrespectful.
How does that happen?
Disrespectful.
I like him a lot better than Devin Lloyd, just because I think Devin Lloyd is like your jack of all trades but master of none, kind of. Because like he can kind of do everything, but he's not like the best at anything, you know?
Okay.
Whereas Nakobe Dean he can I don't know. He's just a dog.
Oh yeah, no. That's why I call him a heat-seeking missile. Like he just all he knows is go. that's
find ball and tackle.
Yes, exactly. I love it. I love him.
If we didn't get Miles Jack, I would have loved to have Nakobe Dean as a Steeler. Like
I still wouldn't mind drafting him. Get Devin Bush out of there.
Give him 1 year with.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Miles Jack honestly might just be like here for a year for all we know. Like I know they give him a 2-year contract, but if his knee doesn't hold up, then that's not a bad idea. So I wouldn't be opposed at all if they took Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean in the 1st round. I would not be angry at all. The only difference is like Dean and Bush are essentially one and the same to a degree. They're both the type of linebacker that use their athleticism to go sideline to sideline. So like for that, Lloyd might be a little bit of a better fit with the Steelers than Dean.
Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah.
This might be a little hot take too, but I think Leo Chanel out of Wisconsin.
I'm preaching it, Johnny. Leo freaking Chanel, man.
He might be the best linebacker, but it's between him and Nakobe Dean, in my opinion. I think Devin Lloyd is 3.
Leo Chanel's good. I'm also a Troy Anderson fan from Montana State. I like him a lot. He's an athletic freak too.
Got it. All right, Jetty. Number 7.
Sorry, my laptop freaked out there. Derek Stingley drafted before Sauce Gardner.
Oh, Deke has been actually preaching this a little bit lately. If this does happen, Dre might have a conniption. If this
Dre
happens.
might lose it. Dre might just stop the Instagram stories when we need to do the draft and just go drink.
Yeah, that.
I love Derek Stingley, man. I mean, his freshman year was just, he could have been top 5 pick that year. But, the injuries are always going to be a concern, but I don't know. I just think he's got it in him. And Sauce he's good too, but my main thing about Sauce is his tackling. And in the NFL, your corners are going to be asked to tackle a lot.
Yeah. Stingley's pro day really kind of helped, solidify it. Yeah. Because that was kind of the knock, was that his freshman year was so incredible that after that it was just downhill. But he's healthy. He's fully recovered. He ran a 4.3, which is very good.
It's faster than Austin running.
It is very much faster. Yeah, Bud Light
just
seltzers.
A split second.
Yeah,
Bud Light seltzer, man. I'll run anytime you need me to run. Alrighty. My number 7 is a spicy take, but I love it. I think this would be the perfect place, and this is a trade. This is not a draft prospect. This is a trade of them sending a pick in order to get this guy on their team. So I don't think he'll be quite worth a first. It might be something else. But my number 7 is Kadarius Toney is traded to the Chiefs during the draft.
Oh my God.
You don't like this one? Or you don't see this one happening?
Absolutely crazy.
He won't go for a first.
He will not go for a first. That's
at tops a third.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I know that when the Giants traded back and took Toney, I said that's the worst pick in this entire draft.
I will give you that. You were adamant about that.
I graded it an F, and here we are a year later. And
you sat on my couch and wrote a big F on your board. I do recall. Yes.
And they are already trying to trade him. Now, that's not necessarily I don't know if it's him wanting money. I don't think that. I just think that when they drafted him, they already spent prime money in free agency for wide receiver talent. They took Kenny Golladay, miss. They still had Sterling Shepard. I would argue was okay in some flashes, showed a little bit of himself, but the injury still caught up. Miss. Darius Slayton, shell of his former self from 2 years ago. Just an absolute no-show.
Don't forget don't forget about the true number 1 wide receiver, Evan Ingram.
Well, he's no longer there, so yeah.
I know. He was there last year, though.
He went to Jacksonville, right?
Yeah,
I believe he did. Yes, that's gonna be fun.
And since we're talking about
can't block to save his life.
No, and since we're talking about this, I found it hilarious when I read this that JJ Arcega-Whiteside was transitioning to tight end.
He's a big boy, though. He's a big boy.
He wasn't good as a wide receiver, so why would tight end be any better?
Hey, he blocked pretty well as a wide receiver.
He might not be able to catch as
well.
But
then again, that's blocking wide or cornerbacks, not defensive ends.
But yeah, you're true. Yeah, but if you have Toney on the Chiefs, like the games that Toney played, really good. I would say, like he was flat. He showed a lot of flashes, and you can't tell me that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes wouldn't find some role for him to play in that offense alongside Juju.
Yeah, like Austin, if you remember, like we did our draft preview show the week before. Like I was doing it remote because I had the Coco, and
that's right.
We had Josh's friend sitting in the studio and stuff, and the question got brought up about Kadarius Toney suddenly rising, and I was just like, I don't know what to make of it. I think people just saw the tape and saw the speed and thought he could be a burner, especially because of the way the league was moving towards with it. And I think there were moments where like the talent showed. It's just the way that the Giants need to switch their offense up in order to make Daniel Jones relevant. Toney does not fit it at all.
No, I literally said when they drafted him, oh, that's great. They drafted a punt returner. That's great.
I do remember that. Yes, I can't confirm. You have excellent recall, bud.
I do. If there's one thing I have recall of, it's the drafts.
Yeah.
So,
Did
All
you
right.
guys see that he got like his entire back tattooed of like the New York skyline,
Oh,
the New York area
no.
code, like everything New York, his entire back, and I'm just like, they're already
Oh,
trying to
man,
do
that
it.
is-
Man,
That's rough.
that's rough.
That is a hell of a tattoo removal. If I had to
Unless
say
you
that.
get straight to the Jets.
Which could be possible. Which could be possible. They do need offensive weapons.
He'll be like, I need to go to the Jets. I already got this thing on my back, man. It's gonna be so hard to get rid of. But all right, Juddy, number 6.
Jameson Williams is the first wide receiver off the board in the top 10.
I don't hate
Preach
this.
it.
I don't hate this at all. It's gonna be so.
Teams are not afraid of that ACL surgery. ACL surgeries are getting, it's more advanced now, and people are recovering more. So I think they take a shot at him for top 10.
I don't hate it, man. I've said this for how long that I believe that Jameson Williams will be the first receiver gone and he'll go to the Falcons. That's what I've been preaching. Everyone thought I was a clown for that take, and I'm sticking to it.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Falcons
you
are
are
the team.
a clown, though.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Falcons are a team that takes the first receiver. It's either them. I can't for the life of me see the Jets doing it at 4 because I think that's way too aggressive. And aside from that,
I could see them at 10 now.
I can see them at 10, yes. But if we're talking like the first receiver, I think it's Falcons. I think it's the prime spot for them. I think it wouldn't be the smartest pick for them necessarily, but I do think that's like the sweet spot.
Do not hate it. My number 6. Now I wanna say that these next 2 picks are based on betting odds. So if you're a bettor, listen up. Number 6, Kyle Hamilton goes over his 10.5 projection.
This breaks my heart so much.
I agree because
This breaks my heart.
he's so good.
He's so good.
It's insane how people saw that 40 time and they were like, I don't want it.
No one watched.
Pounds.
All you have to do is watch game tape. That's all you have to
Literally
do.
just watch the game. He's so fast in the game.
We talked about this for a little bit on the video that we dropped. We did a mock draft. I ended up taking him to the Minnesota Vikings. It'll be interesting to see if that happens or not, being that Harrison Smith is still there and he still wants money.
You did get some crap, by the way, for picking Justin.
I did, because the guy that because Dre's friend is a Minnesota Viking fan.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised how much heat you got for that, actually. So.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of heat. But you could even argue that, if the Washington Commanders could take him and plug him into that safety role, that there's no way, however, that a team, in my honest opinion, will take him before 10 picks. It sucks, I know, because in mock drafts in the past, I had him at 4 at one point.
Oh,
to the
he's
Jets.
so good. He really is.
He deserves to be there.
In my opinion, he is the best player in this class.
Yes.
He is the best player in this class, and it's not even close. And there's a difference between best talent and best football player. He is 100% the best football player in this class.
Yes.
He's the second best prospect at his position.
Whoa!
So the top safety prospect, but there's one other prospect that's better at his position than him.
Really?
And that's the punt god, Matt Araiza.
Oh my God!
Didn't you text me like when the combine was happening? Like, did you just see that punter run?
You are
like
the
40?
first. You are the first person I think on TFTB on any of our platforms that has brought up Matt Araiza, and I am so happy for it because
he's the goo.
The dude's awesome. I
love him.
didn't realize he was a lefty too.
Oh wow!
And that's the
you don't see that.
No, and that's the reason he's so good because like when he kicks, the ball comes up. The ball like essentially like just rotates differently for a lefty kicking it. So that's why like he's looked at so high. Like this is a dude that might go in the 3rd round, which is rare.
Bill
for a
Belichick
punter.
loves his lefty punters.
San Diego State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is true, Juddy.
I could definitely, like, honestly, a 3rd round or early 3rd day, I could see him going.
Hey,
Like,
people
I
gave
love
the Bengals crap for taking kicker Evan McPherson so early. Saw how that worked out.
Yeah. No,
So-
Araiza is the real deal.
And being able to flip a field like that, like he hit, I think, 2 80-yard punts. Like, that's outrageous.
Yeah. I don't hate it, Juddy. I love that. I was like, originally when you said position, like I thought like if you were gonna name like another safety that was better than Kyle Hamilton.
Oh God, no. Kyle Hamilton's far and away the best safety.
Okay,
Right. The next one might be Seen, but
okay,
I don't even think he's gonna be a first round pick.
Got you. All right, we're halfway. Juddy, bring us for number 5.
You had actually touched upon this. I said Ojabo sneaks into the first round despite his injury.
Yep.
He's just a freak athlete, and I think Buffalo Bills could go for him. I could see Tampa Bay going for him.
Oh, I wouldn't hate that.
Because Tampa just lost JPP, didn't they?
I don't remember. I think I thought he re-signed for another year.
He
I thought he re-upped. I thought he re-upped after
Brady came back.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys did because I know for
either way, I don't hate it, Juddy, because JPP obviously up there in age.
So is Shaq Barrett. So
yep.
Yeah, I mean they love to do their rotational, rotate their D linemen. So
yeah.
I could see Ojabo going to
hot take. The Packers take Ojabo with their first round pick.
Oh my God! Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers? He calls them up and then they take a receiver with their second pick, and everyone's gonna be like, it's because Aaron Rodgers called them bitching. Yeah. Like, where's my receiver? If they don't take a receiver in the first round, I will lose it. I'll laugh so hard.
They'll
take another. They'll take like Sam.
This is such a good receiver class that they have to at some point. They have to.
They'll take another quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That'd be amazing. It would be amazing. They take Sam Howell with their second pick.
I was just gonna say Sam
love
Howell.
it. Love it.
Aaron Rodgers will be like burning down all of Green Bay. Alrighty. As I said before, this last number 6 and number 5 are both betting odds. Greg, this one is for you. Okay. Number 5, Jordan Davis goes under his 14.5 projection.
The dancing bear!
14.5. In my honest opinion, there's not 13 or 14 better guys than Jordan Davis in this draft.
No, but it's also along the line too that with defensive tackles, you need like that freak, and thankfully with his combine numbers that set it up. And like from the top of my head, the Ravens at 14 is definitely the floor in my opinion.
Yes,
that's definitely the floor. I could see the Vikings going with him. If I'm going to look at some other things, Falcons honestly at 8 desperately need D-line help, I feel. Like that would be a big add with him and Grady Jarrett on that line. That'd be interesting. In terms of like how high he could go though, that's going to be fascinating. I can't see top 5. I don't see Panthers because they drafted Derek Brown. I think he's been okay to start. I don't think they're going to be willing to go that route. 9 at Seattle would be interesting, actually. That'd be very fascinating if they decide to go that route. But yeah, I think that's a good bet, actually.
A lot of people like love to hate on this Georgia defense because like they like Trayvon Walker, like you said, ninth
best player on that defense.
Where do you think he ranks on there?
Oh God, he's number 1. He was the best player on that defense, and it's not even close. He won the Chuck Bednarik, which is the best defensive player in college football this year for a reason. Yeah. He only had 2 sacks all year, but like the dude swallowed up holes. Like he was the reason why a lot of their edge guys were being looked at so highly at one point. Like Nolan Smith is going to be a stud next year in my opinion because of how much playing time he got. They had one guy who was also getting some first-round buzz before he was an idiot off the field, and thankfully was indicted.
We can just say his name. Devontae Wyatt. You can just like.
No, I'm talking about the other guy that was the edge that was thankfully kicked off the team in October because he did something stupid, which I'm not going to bring up his name, and he was actually indicted today, thank God.
Gotcha. That's who you were going with.
Yes, that's where I'm going with. But Jordan Davis was the number 1 best player on that Georgia defense last year. Nakobe Dean was 2, in my opinion, but I think that he will be a tremendous pick for whoever decides to take him.
Yeah, I personally, like you said, I think the 2 best landing spots for him. I mean, you could argue even the Texans could take him at 13 because I
wouldn't hate that either. Yeah, I would not hate that.
They just desperately need any help. But I could see him going in that 12 to 14 range. I just think if he goes over 14, someone screwed up because there's no.
Oh
way.
God, can you imagine him going 15 to the Eagles and being the heir apparent to Fletcher Cox? That's just
Can
not
you
fair.
imagine? In the video we just did, can you imagine of where he landed for me? I had him going to the Chargers. You have him, you have Khalil Mack, and you have Joey Bosa. Get the hell out of here!
And they pair him with Jerry Tillery on the inside.
Oh
too.
my God, yeah.
No, they just got Sebastian Joseph Day.
Oh, that's
Tillery
right.
is out of that.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Tillery is terrible.
Yeah.
I hate him so much.
Alrighty, Juddy. Number 4.
Number 4, I did already say this one. New Orleans trades up to get a quarterback.
Okay.
I think
Who would that quarterback be, Justin?
Malik Willis by far.
Oh,
You know, they got they know they have Jameis Winston. For at least, I think he signed a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So even if they need Malik Willis to develop for both those 2 years, they're good with it.
And they have the elite tight end known as Taysom Hill, which is gonna do wonders for them. Yes.
Exactly.
The memes that came out when Sean Payton resigned, there was like Taysom Hill with like a help wanted sign. Like it's like, what am I doing?
Oh, Dennis Allen flat out saying he's gonna be a tight end was amazing. It was the best thing that I heard from him.
Good, because he was hurting my Alvin Kamara stuff before his off the field stuff came into play.
Hey, Austin, we actually watched that movie about Sean Payton with Kevin James.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, it wasn't good.
It was like
right?
a modern day like Little Giants. I don't think we ended up finishing it.
Well, what's his name? Taylor Lautner was like the coach, right?
Yeah.
So like, what the hell kind of? That sounds so bad.
It was basically like a Little Giants.
No, put some respect on the Little Giants. That movie.
It was.
It was a knockoff Little Giants.
Okay, that's better. That's better.
It also had the late great John Madden in it, so just a wonderful movie. I love that. My number 4, Justin, you had previously stated this. I'm putting it up here because of the recent buzz. I love it because I think it would be a wonderful pick. I don't care what anybody says. It is Trayvon Walker going number 1 overall to the Jaguars.
Boo!
I don't care.
Reach.
Have him flourish, dude. I love Trayvon Walker. Dude is going to be an absolute stud in this Jaguars system, especially now. I mean, like I said, or like you said, sorry, when they have Jonathan Taylor, when they have Derrick Henry, like when they have, I'm assuming the Falcons are going to draft either Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker. So they're going to have a running back. They need
Texans?
That's right. I don't know why I said Falcons. My bad. Either way, all their running backs suck. So they'll shut them down anyway. But they desperately need to stop the run. Trayvon Walker's the guy to do that. So number 4, him going number 1 overall. Which gets us into the top 3. Now,
I feel like this one is interesting.
This one might throw you for a loop on.
Oh, let's get it then.
Deebo Samuel does not get traded before the draft.
He'll get traded during it?
No, I think because they're going to want a first-round pick no matter what.
Oh, easily, yeah.
And I think San Francisco is going to try their best just to keep him. And I think like before OTAs actually start, if he doesn't come to that, then they trade him. Because I think they want to make it work with him.
I don't hate it, Justin. Something had to have happened, right, with Deebo and the 49ers because the money was there. Like the money was presented.
He claims
to him.
It's not about the money. Like that's
what I'm saying. I don't think it's the money, Greg. I know it's not the money because they gave him a contract and he declined.
Yeah.
Now, you could argue that it's the physical style that San Francisco plays, that they used him out of the backfield. He didn't want to be used like that. He wanted to be a traditional wide receiver, not a running back combo. I mean, I loved it for fantasy purposes because I took him in the 13th round.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it. So having him in that was great. But San Francisco plays balls to the wall in terms of physicality. That's why George Kittle is always hurt. That's why Jimmy Garoppolo is always hurt. And that's why Deebo Samuel had his injury scares in the last couple of years too. And there also is the retrospective of location. He wants to be closer to home. And I don't necessarily know if that's what will happen, but something had to have happened because Deebo and Kyle Shanahan, those two love each other. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if it's front office. I don't know if it's something else, but Deebo is flat out doing his best to get out of San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And I don't know I think with some capital here, and this is going to lead into my number 3 because it is literally the exact opposite of Justin's. I said
it was going to be interesting.
And my take is this. I know I've preached the Jameson Williams to Atlanta thing, but what could happen and what I think will happen are very different. This is what I believe what could happen or what will happen. The 49ers trade Deebo to the Jets, and with that number 10 selection, they draft Jameson Williams.
That would be interesting.
Immediately replace Deebo Samuel with a guy that can stretch the field, whether Jimmy Garoppolo plays, or I believe what the better case scenario is if Trey Lance plays. Because Trey Lance can throw that sucker down the field. Jameson Williams can get down there. And Deebo Samuel will then be on the Jets, who can also stretch the field for Zach Wilson. I think this is the prime scenario that will happen. If it doesn't, I don't know what's going to happen.
Is that close to his home? You said he would want to go home.
No, that's what I'm
Carolina.
saying.
Okay. I think South Carolina.
Yeah, because he went to South Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know if the location thing will come into play, but I know that the San Francisco fans have not been treating Deebo well since he's asked for this, and it's always funny how.
Did you see the thing where he was at a club and someone had a sign up that says Deebo was staying in San Fran, and he was at the club and someone put the camera to him and he's just shaking his head no. Yeah. It was incredible.
That's what I'm saying.
Incredible.
Him staying in San Fran, I think is very it's almost like it's very different scenarios, but it's like the Baker Mayfield scenario in Cleveland, where I don't believe those two will be on the same team, or be on their same teams. Either during the draft, after the draft. I personally, like I've said, Baker Mayfield, I think they should trade him to Carolina and get another pick, as well as Carolina trading Robbie Anderson and another pick to Cleveland. So, because Robbie Anderson apparently hates Baker Mayfield. So.
Yeah.
I saw this one thing that Deebo wants out because the taxes. He got his taxes done thing too, on tax day.
That'd be amazing. That'd be some shit I'd do, by the way.
In California's taxes are so ridiculous. He saw how much was taken out and he was just like, I gotta get out of here.
It's possible.
Honestly, that would be something I would do. It really would.
Oh, all right. We have our top 2. So Jetty, if there's more spice in it, I'll love it. What do you got?
This is another spicy one, I think. Seattle does not take a quarterback in the first 2 rounds.
The first 2 rounds. Oh, I love it. I love it, Justin.
I think they might go with Carson Strong in the 3rd or 4th round or something like that. But I think they have so many other needs that they're gonna fill those or try to fill those before they go quarterback next year.
Actually, something I wasn't thinking about, they don't have Bobby Wagner anymore. Nope. They could realistically take Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd at 9.
Yep.
And that would be something no one thought about that either. That'd be very fun if they did that.
I've seen Evan Neal go there too.
Yeah, at 9? There have been recent draft stocks where Evan Neal, depending on how the draft falls, Evan Neal does fall to Seattle. I don't know if
First off, Seattle is allergic to good offensive linemen and drafting them early, so let's not kid ourselves here. You need to be either a former basketball player or a former rugby player transitioning to the game before you can even be considered on Seattle's radar, because that's how that works.
Not only that, I think that they could realistically take a linebacker with one of their 2 picks in the 2nd round. Somehow if if Quay Walker or Christian Harris is there. I don't think that would be a bad selection
Whoa,
with them.
whoa. You forget the favorite linebacker of Two Beers Deep, Chad
Muma. I know.
Muma.
I don't hate
Wyoming
it either.
Cowboy, baby.
I do not hate it. And then I believe that they would, use one of those picks if Evan Neal does not fall. They would use it on an offensive tackle. Probably Daniel Falele, maybe, or as Greg likes to call him, Falafel.
Falafel. Yeah, Falafel. That's where I go.
All right. I appreciate the spice. I just love having it thrown on, man. Here's a spicy take for number 2. There will be not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 trades in the first round in this year's draft.
4 trades.
I feel like
4 trades.
Can I be honest?
In the first round.
Yes.
Can I be honest, bud? I feel like you're being conservative.
Am I being conservative?
I feel like you're being conservative, yeah.
I think that a lot of times that we get years where we do see like 4 trades, but there have been years where like there's only been like 1 trade because that happens a lot. But I think with teams desperate for quarterbacks, receivers, different positions, I think teams are gonna like just throw stuff at the wall with trades and hope that they stick.
I think it's the teams that have multiple first-round picks that are going to be the ones that are probably the most active, in all seriousness.
Which, that's what Green Bay, Kansas City, the Jets, the Giants, the Saints, the Eagles. So many, man. It's this offseason has been crazy. It's
wild.
For years I had been clamoring, like, make the offseason like the NBA. Make it earth-shattering, like, please. And they finally have delivered.
It's been earth-shattering.
Devontae Adams,
it's the greatest offseason I've ever seen.
Devontae Adams to the Raiders, Von Miller to the Bills, Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins, Russell Wilson to the Broncos, like Carson Wentz to the Commanders.
Wow,
what a nerd.
What if is there talk about Baker going to Seattle?
No,
there have been links of him with Seattle. Originally, I think the 2 teams that they say they could, before the Pittsburgh thing, because I know a lot of people, I even put the poll out on Twitter, 56% said no, that would be a bad idea for Baker to go to Pittsburgh. 44 said, let's give it a shot. And there were like a decent amount, like 30 votes. So a decent amount of clarification. But honestly, the 2 teams, in my honest opinion, that could, Seattle, yes, or Carolina. I think Carolina has to be, because I made this analogy during the video, and I know people said this was stupid, but I stand by it. The Bears took a chance on drafting Justin Fields to save their asses, that being Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. What happened? They still got fired. It doesn't matter if they take a quarterback or not. Get a guy that's going to be there, that's relatively young, and made Cleveland, I'm going to say it, relevant again.
It wasn't him that made him relevant. It was Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, and that offensive line.
Nick Chubb, I would argue, more than Myles Garrett. But
I would too. Myles Garrett, bro, like, listen, like, I kind of...
They do rotational backfield.
Listen, I like Myles Garrett, but, like, there are way too many games where, like, he just doesn't show up at all. Like, that's...
Unless he has the helmet in hand.
You also got to see,
It was one time,
they have on that line? Like, they had Clowney last year, but he's always hurt. Who else have they had? I don't know. I think Myles Garrett.
Oh, I'm not saying that Myles Garrett's not talented. Like, Myles Garrett is very, very freaking good. But, like, there's just been a lot of games where he just doesn't show up, and that's the part that, like, kind of, like, bugs me a little about him. I'm not saying I'm not discrediting him in any way. Like, I agree with you. He's a stud. It's just like he doesn't, like, there's too many times where he just gets swallowed up way too easily. Like the game, and I know this is kind of a bad take, but I'm just gonna say, like Ben's last game in Pittsburgh, the night that TJ Watt had 4 sacks against the Browns, Myles Garrett didn't even show up on the sheet. And Dan Moore's not that good of a left tackle. So
I think that's the reason. Let's put it into perspective where we really think. It's that people are putting Myles Garrett and TJ Watt in the same breath, and it's just not the case. I'm sorry. Like, they're saying like TJ Watt 1A, Myles Garrett 1B. TJ Watt 1, Myles Garrett 2. That's just how it is. If you put them in the same breath, look at the stats. I'm talking to you, Bueno, you idiot. I love you, but you just don't understand. It's pitiful.
I might have to clip that.
Please,
you might have to. Yeah, that's incredible.
I honestly don't think there's a big drop off between Baker and Sam Darnold.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's the perfect place.
I think they're pretty much the same at this point.
Drafted in the same year, like they could easily put in some competition.
It's just the Jets weren't able to put anything around Sam when he was there, and Cleveland actually was able to. I don't know.
Then when you finally
That's why I don't think he goes to the Panthers.
Well, you finally had opportunities with weapons and everything for him to work with in Carolina. He saw some flashes at the start, but
he got hurt. So
I just think
because they were good, like their first 4 or 5 games or something. Then he got hurt, and then he just forgot how to play. And
getting hurt and forgetting how to play are two different things.
It wasn't a concussion, right?
Well,
maybe it was.
It's possible.
Maybe it was ghosts on the field. Who knows? Juddy, this is it, my friend. This is your number 1 draft prediction.
This one isn't spicy. This one is just one that I am almost positive has to happen, and that's Atlanta trading back.
Yeah, you did mention this before. Like, you're very confident about this one.
They have to. They just don't have much of anything, and it's going to be extremely difficult to get free agents to come there because your team's so bad. Unless you throw a ton of money at them, which that'll get them.
Yeah, I would argue that there are worse things in the world than living in Atlanta. Just saying.
This is true.
You could live in Cleveland.
Exactly.
This is true. People like Atlanta, the city, but playing for the Falcons, when their team is looking like this, that's tough.
The one caveat I would say is that, in all seriousness, they drafted a lot of defense last year, and a lot of those guys started to show up a lot. We touched on this too. I didn't expect AJ Terrell to be that good.
Oh, AJ Terrell was a dog.
I didn't expect him to be that good, and he was very good on that defense. But yeah, I think they desperately need to remake that offense entirely. I think it was JPA Football that put their starting offensive line, their starting offense, and it was just pitiful to look at.
They're all bench players for every other team.
Yeah.
They just need too much to. And this draft, I don't think there's you don't have your bona fide top 10,
But there's a lot of quality. There's a lot of quality in this class though.
Top 3 tackles are going to go top 10, and then the 2 edge rushers, Trayvon Walker and Aiden Hutchinson. Other than that, I think the rest of them can almost go anywhere,
Yep. It's going to be interesting, depending, because Bud Light put out a thing that if you guessed the all 32 picks correct, you get a huge amount of money.
That'll never happen.
Well, and also if you pick your favorite team's pick correctly, you get entered into a drawing outside of it, which would be cool.
That could actually be done, but picking all 32 would be absolutely.
I actually think I picked Malik Willis at 8.
I could see it, but what's the point in putting Malik Willis even next year? I don't see a 1-year turnaround for that offense. That offense needs just 3 years of work.
Yeah, they'll regress because they went 7-10 last year, which I thought was surprising. I thought it was very surprising, and I don't think Arthur Smith will get fired this year because I think most people understand their offense is a work in progress. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a thing, but I do think that they have a lot of holes they need to fill in that offense. I really do hope they draft just a ton of offense in this year's class.
Yeah. And me.
Oh, God.
This one
Here we go.
Help us all.
This one, I believe, is not spicy to anybody but Juddy.
Oh.
This is why I'm saying. We said who, if you get put into a drawing for picking your team's pick. I am standing by this. I believe this will happen because I believe it's just in the cards. Malik Willis will be a Steeler.
Wow. Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I don't think he likes that.
I don't think he likes it either.
Listen, he's expressed his disdain on Malik Willis. I understand it. But you have Mitch Trubisky already. You have a guy that's able to maneuver mobily. I'm pretty sure I just invented that word. Mobily.
Yeah.
Yes. Anemone. Yes. Mobile in the pocket. So you know that he's going to start. But the writing on the wall is there with Tomlin and Malik Willis and the relationship that he wants. It's at one point, I'll say this, that people have stated, it is the worst kept secret in the NFL.
There are
in love with Malik Willis.
There are two guys that I know for a fact that Mike Tomlin is giddy about. One is Malik Willis, and the other one is Jordan Davis. And he's already said there's no way Jordan Davis gets to them at 20. So
right. I think
there's no way that Malik Willis gets
to them. You think, but the amount of like uncertainty that people have in this quarterback class, the only one that I can see happening, and I know it because they're dumb, is going to be Carolina taking Kenny Pickett. After that, like, I don't believe you could argue maybe that I would argue this, Juddy, that if Malik Willis were to go before, it would be with the Saints but I don't think they would need to trade up for him. I really don't think they would even need to do that. I'm
trying to like speak it into existence so they trade up for him, just so that the Steelers don't even think about trying to trade up.
All right, well, wait, real quick, Juddy. So, like, who would you want the Steelers to take at 20?
At 20, I would love Tyler Linderbaum if he's there.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying he's not, or Zion Johnson.
Zion's another favorite that I think a lot of people are starting to come around on.
And that's just because. So we got James Daniel. I think he's a stud.
I like him a lot. Yeah.
Be good on the interior, but the other guy we got,
Mason Cole. Mason Cole.
He was trash.
I personally don't see him as a starter. I think he's a reserve guy, to be honest with you.
I agree, and I also don't think that Green is a starter.
I disagree because I think Green shouldn't have been a center to begin with. He was a guard at Illinois. He played a little bit of center, and they were desperate because of Pouncey retiring, so they needed someone at center. And Colbert has already come out and said like he regrets not getting someone to be a center to do that. So it was like trial by fire. I think Green definitely made a lot of mistakes, but I'm also willing to bet you. And I mean, he was training this offseason with Marquise Pouncey. So like, if you can't learn anything from one of the greatest centers of our generation, like, then what are you doing? So I think Green will get every chance in the world to try again, and I think he'll improve. For the record,
I think they are going to give him another try. That's why I don't think they're going to take an interior offensive lineman, which is where I would go personally. But I would also like one of the linebackers, either Nakobe Dean or Leo Chanel personally.
Yeah. And that's something that I think like we all kind of look at with the Steelers is like what they do a really good job with is that they fill their holes through free agency so that they can be flexible in the draft.
Right. I personally, like, this is just what I'm saying. If it's not Malik Willis, it's Desmond Ridder. And that's only if Malik Willis is picked ahead. You could argue many teams, Atlanta, you could argue trying to replace Marcus Mariota as their guy for the future. You could argue Seattle trying to replace their guy with Drew Lock. I mean, you can't tell me, like, I'm big Drew Lock guy here. Just want to put that out when he started. Like,
you are hanging your head on this, like, very well, I will say.
Like, I like Drew Lock a lot when he came out, and yeah, he's had some moments that make me cringe at times, but so has every other quarterback.
Been a lot of times in fairness.
Yeah, so I still have confidence in Drew Lock. I think that he'll be able to work his magic a little bit if they put the right pieces around him to succeed. Only other teams, I would argue the wild card would be Philadelphia. Maybe to try. I mean, who knew that they were taking Jalen Hurts when they had Carson Wentz? That was a shock to me. I stood up and literally laughed. I said, this is stupid. And then Carson Wentz did Carson Wentz things, and now they have Jalen Hurts. You could argue the Saints would be probably like the best position, if not the Steelers, to take, being that he could learn, as you said, Juddy, under Jameis Winston and that offense. I personally just believe that I don't even think that they'll have to trade up for Malik Willis. I firmly believe that they are in the right scenario, that other positions are going to be considered, that Malik Willis will be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
I wouldn't be as upset if they don't trade up, but people are saying they're trying to trade up to the top 10 to pick him, and I'm just like, God, no, don't do that.
I don't think that'll happen. As much as the love is there from Tomlin, the last time we traded up for Devin Bush. So we saw how that happened.
I'm not ready to give up on him, just saying. That's just
no, I'm not. I'm not either, Greg. But we saw the amount of backlash now that Devin Bush is getting. But I say give him another year under Flores. He'll be fine, because if Flores can't teach him anything, then it's a lost cause. But
do you pick up his 5th-year option? They have to in like a week. So I personally don't think they pick up his 5th-year option. And I think he will bounce back this year, but I wouldn't pick up his 5th-year option.
It's a fickle mystery with that. I personally think maybe they would, just based on everything of what Flores can teach him. But that's all.
Yeah.
Hey, we saw what happened with Flores and that Miami Dolphins team, how everyone was counting him out, and then he fired back with 8 straight wins. Like, Miami absolutely creamed the Ravens that one Thursday night game, and I was flabbergasted. But my love for Malik Willis does not change. I love the kid. I think he's the perfect Mike Tomlin guy to throw into the Steelers offense.
And if he does get picked by the Steelers, I'm going to root like hell for him.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah.
I have a question, Austin. If somehow Pickett falls and the Steelers are up, do you think they pass on him or they take him?
That's a tough thing, because Pickett is pro ready, so they would have to start him over Mitch Trubisky, and I don't think that they're ready to do that quite yet. I think they want to see what Trubisky can give them, being that he's mobile and fits Matt Canada's offense a little bit more than Pickett, because you can't fake slide anymore. So Pickett's already
you can do that in the NFL. You can't do it in college anymore.
That's true, yeah. But in my mind, I still believe that if Malik Willis is gone and it is between Pickett and Ritter, I do believe the Steelers go Ritter.
I also wouldn't be upset if they went with wide receiver at 20.
Oh God, if one of them is there, if Jameson Williams falls to us, whoa!
Oh God, yes.
Bring it. But all right, that is our top 10 selections. I think that the spice was definitely delivered tonight.
It was. It was.
There's always draft content that is going to be through and through to the NFL draft and after. Like I said, I'll be giving my grades on everything. A blog will drop on the grades and my explanations of them. I'm so excited. There's never a more fun time in the NFL than the NFL draft. So
yeah, and I am going to post the graphic tomorrow, so you have it ready for the draft, and we can compare
thanks for doing that,
what
man.
happens.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
No
you're the real MVP.
That's why you're like the awesome producer that the show has. So
clipping that, saving it forever.
Yep.
What?
What? You said something nice about it.
No. What? Justin, thank you for being on the show, buddy. I appreciate it. I've wanted to get you on for so long, and I
appreciate you having me.
Man.
School's been so busy.
I get it, man. I get it.
No, I appreciate it, especially draft week. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I love to hear your opinions when draft day comes along. We'll be streaming that and everything. So text me your stuff. Let me know your opinions and everything. Just as well as everybody else's opinions. Draft day is here, gents.
Let go.
I'm excited, and it's honestly going to be hard to come up with a topic next week for the show because I'm going to be so draft hungover that it's going to be unreal. So until then, as always, you can find us here on Twitch, 6:30s on Tuesday, just doing what we love. Episode 78. Episode 78,
We're
guys.
getting there.
God help us.
Want to get to 100. I want to get there. We will. As always, thank you for tuning in, everyone. Again, Justin, thanks for being on the show. Until then, everybody, court is adjourned.
Court is adjourned.